Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the OTT.X Webinar series, where it is our continued privilege to share with you the experience, insights, and wisdom from the experts and executives that are shaping the OTT and CTV industry. My name is Jose Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we are joined by Adam Rumanek, CEO of Aux Mode, for an in-depth analysis of YouTube and how to meaningfully engage with its audience. From traditional ad revenue to joining the YouTube Partner Program, Adam will share a range of ways to monetize, optimize, and protect your content on the sharing platform. This session will also dive into scheduling content, building a loyal audience, licensing versus going direct, and learning from the analytics. We encourage you to submit your questions into the Q&A bin, and time permitting, our presenter will get to them at the end of the presentation. Adam, it is a pleasure to have you join us today. I will turn it over to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for the introduction.
Of course.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name's Adam Rumanek from Aux Mode. Nice to meet everyone. And by the way, as I present, if you have any questions or any insights as I go along, I encourage you to hold your hand up, ask right away. I'd rather keep this very conversational. I've learned in my past, especially being on the other side, and I am on the other side a lot, that I always have questions as I go and I forget them and I never contact the person speaking, so it's lost. So feel free to ask questions as we move along through this presentation. I'm going to do a quick screen share. I hope everybody can see it in one sec. Chrome tab, I think. There we go. I hope it's crystal clear for everybody. I hope I'm not missing anything. Again, thanks for the introduction. I'd like to clarify one or two things as we move along. This is more so for corporations than YouTubers. A lot of YouTubers have, I guess, different strategies than corporations who own libraries of content or intellectual property rights for audio or video than if I'm a YouTuber. I do always like to say, if you are a YouTuber, it's very valuable as well, but I understand if you're the personality behind a YouTube channel and you've chosen that career, earning revenue, on the platform is quite hard. A lot of what I'm going to speak about is intellectual property rights claiming, content protection, and reporting. But on the YouTuber side of things, to be honest, and vulnerable is your best strategy when building out a YouTube channel if you're the person who's going to be the host of that channel. And I always like to say, share your experiences, especially with a group like this, because we can all relate. I will be focusing on monetizing content, content protection, and in the end, reporting on that content in no particular order. If you had any questions as I go along, again, please ask. Coming out of the gates, I always like to start with optimizing. It is the number one thing you need to do. People are very visual, meaning they'll click on a movie, they'll look at a movie poster without even reading on the headline. On YouTube, it's the same thing. We call it a custom thumbnail. You really need to take it seriously. What people see and click on. I encourage you, if somebody wasn't a famous actor 20 years ago and now is, and you have them person in your movie or your video or whatever it is, switch the thumbnail to that person being the headliner. It really does work. Topics, engaging with your audience, keeping communication on. There is no better referral for you on YouTube than your existing audience who are going to share that link with somebody else. I do believe those will help grow your channel. I also believe in posting consistently, meaning it's Friday at 10 a.m., not 10:01 or 9:59. I really believe crucial steps in building out your audience is creating, very strict rules. Like, they subscribe to you. If you can ask yourself when the last time you subscribed, or more importantly, unsubscribed from somebody, it's probably very rare. So keep that audience engaged, treat them with the utmost, respect by releasing consistent. How to engage your audience, and we call them super fans. It's a YouTube term. It's constantly communicate with that community tab. Some people keep engagement off. I believe in keeping it on, but you can make the rules strict, meaning if somebody uses derogatory terms, it doesn't even get posted. It's actually held for review. I personally believe everybody should have it on strict, especially with kids. By definition on the YouTube platform, it's 13 and under. You know, I have a little one now. I probably will keep it on. I'd rather it higher than lower. But when developing your audience, it's really good to have the audience engage with the content. That is the person who's going to help relay that to other people to come and view and share the links with people out there. One of the things you have to think about when speaking to audiences is how to get them to watch more content. What's interesting about the YouTube platform, just as important as when somebody goes onto the platform and you've optimized your content with great title, description, have the whole cast member in there, the director, a great thumbnail, all tags and hashtags. It's really perfectly done, including a brand new thumbnail that looks great. How do we get that audience to share it? And how do we get found on the platform? All very, very tricky things. A bit of a science is when sharing new content, and say it's in a playlist called full movies or trailers or rom-coms or Christmas movies, whatever the playlist is, I find it very important to share the playlist and make sure the movie's the top of the playlist, and you can arrange the order of videos within the playlist, because when that video finishes, it goes to the next video within the playlist, which keeps the user on your YouTube channel as opposed to other people's YouTube channel. That is the holy grail of YouTube, is to keep them on your YouTube channel and make sure they don't go to other people's channels. Because YouTube controls what's called suggestive search. Not only when the first time somebody searches to a piece of content, but if you've ever used YouTube, and I'm sure everybody has here, when your video finishes, YouTube likes you to explore other topics related to that video and has suggestions for you. We want to keep them on our YouTube channel. So share the playlist, not the video, on other social media platforms. Meaning if you share a trailer or a full movie on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever social media platform you're on, ideally share the playlist, not the video, because it'll not only finish and go to other people, it'll create what's called a higher watch time. And when optimizing, there are two things that is an underlying current with everything I'm talking about. One is monetization, the other is watch time. Growth of watch time equals higher monetization. You can get 1 billion views and make $16,000, but you have 30 seconds per, watch time per video. If you had 120 minutes and had 10 million views, you'd make $1 million. So the math tells us watch time is a better metric than a view count from a revenue perspective. So yeah, you want to really focus on the optimization, the thumbnail, titles, tags. YouTube also rewards you if somebody clicks on your video and stays on your video. If they click on your video and leave your video, that's a negative impression. So you want to make sure you deliver the content what that person's asking for when that person clicks on the video. So you can have the best attention-grabbing thumbnail in the world, and if somebody clicks on it and they leave, that's going to work against you from a search engine optimization, SEO point of view. You really need to create when somebody clicks on it, they stay, high watch time, good quality content. Now, when building out a YouTube channel, and everybody here I know probably has one, I spoke a bit if you were a YouTuber on this call, there are a couple things we like to make sure at the beginning. And this presentation is a lot about if you have a YouTube channel. I briefly talked about optimizing. But when building out a YouTube channel and making sure you engage your audience, we want to make sure that you're clear on who is your audience. A lot of what I'm about to speak on is knowing your audience, and that's key. Meaning, if you have a horror movies channel, I highly suggest never uploading kids content. If it just doesn't, it will not work with that audience, obviously. So once you know your audience, the crucial step is feeding and engaging that audience as much content at a very specific time, quality content that keeps them watching and engaged and coming back and driving traffic. So a lot of what we look at when we get customers and we look at YouTube channels and helping them grow and giving them guidelines to protect and monetize and revenue report on the content is making sure that they have a list of action points that they execute over, for us, it's like, 3 years or 5-year long-term, strategies here versus short-term. Stuff that we look at when we look at channels is to make sure that they don't do that, have different playlists. One's knitting, the other's, how to go to space. I don't think those audience, I don't think that's like content, as we like to say in the business. They won't collaborate together very well. I think food and health and fitness will. I think rom-coms and Christmas movies will. I think, if your YouTube channel is about sci-fi and then you upload an entire series about, Bigfoot, I'm pretty sure it'll cross-pollinate those audiences together. And you really have to think about that, because when you're creating content, sooner or later, I've been in this business long enough, everybody runs low of content. So you might want to license more content, and you might want to, figure out who your audience is and you can actually ask your audience what they want to see next. It's not a bad move. A lot of people do that in the YouTube world. We often tell people to do that in the world that we're in. Your audience is your best way to grow. If you engage them more, they're going to be like, oh, wow, they listened. And that is great to, respect your audience and treat them with the utmost, use them to curate your next licensing agreement of possible purchasing the rights to a library of content over a specific period of time in a region as well. One of the things we can tell you to do as well is, if you are going to license content, you can license it by region. YouTube lets us geo-block by region, meaning we all know that US is a highly monetized part of the world, but you might have a massive user group in Hindi or in a different language, and you didn't even know it, that they're watching English movies in India, or they're watching Portuguese movies in Brazil. Your English in Brazil. You can also do multi-language. That's another point I was going to make. That's key as well. So say you have a content library and you're not even going to license new content. Why not dub your content into Portuguese, Spanish, Hindi? Hindi has a very large population worldwide. Portuguese, think Brazil. Right there, that's 2 billion people. Spanish is a very highly monetized language in the US, believe it or not. So I'm not saying Spanish worldwide, US-centric. People in US speak Spanish, and it's very highly monetized. So you can take a library about, say you have a YouTube channel, and say you have 250 individual videos, including trailers. So maybe you have 125 trailers, 125 long format. You can you can dub those in multiple languages and move up to 750, even 1,000 if you do 3 languages. It's great. It's another way to take your existing content and extract more revenue per video. When dealing with optimization, I'm going to finish up on this topic and move over to optimizing your content. But with this topic, yes, optimizing in multiple languages, uploading SRTs or sound recording tracks, which is closed captioning, so you can offer your same video somebody in multiple languages, and that's auto-generated by YouTube. So if you upload an SRT in English, it'll auto-generate in multiple languages for you. It's AI-based. It's free. You should definitely do it. Again, engage with your audience, great thumbnails, be consistent, and learn to grow. This platform changes a ton, and you have to change with it. Unfortunately, this isn't something that that once you've set it, you forget it. It constantly is evolving. And that'll lead to our next topic, which has to do with auditing existing channels. That's kind of what this presentation is about, and learning how to maybe earn more revenue from your existing content. So a lot of times we take on YouTube channels, we notice there are a lot of problems with it, especially optimization. That's the #1 thing that needs to be cleaned up outside of the gate. So we look at all your existing content, all of it. Our entire team takes a look at it. We make sure that it's optimized correctly, a lot of what I just spoke about. We make sure you're executing your rights worldwide or in which regions of the world you own that content. It's highly important that you make sure you don't claim intellectual property rights ownership within a region you don't own, because that creates a conflict. That conflict between two assets on the YouTube platform, until that conflict is sorted out, neither asset is monetizable according to the platform. But once it's sorted out, if you win, you get the monetization when it was unmonetized for the previous 30 days or whatever it took you to sort that out. This is something we deal with every single day here at Aux Mode. Our team goes out and makes sure there are no claims between two people that own the same asset. They probably own the same asset in different regions of the world, just nobody's ever taken that step to make sure you're not executing your rights outside of the regions you own the IP. That's a really important step when it comes to earning revenue. Make sure it's claim free. We take a quick audit of all your assets to make sure that doesn't happen. Generally, there's some statistics here about the entire platform and how it works with this thing called UGC, user-generated content. UGC is when somebody uploads a video, the entire video or a clip of your video is in their video. And you can claim that back from them or block it worldwide or by region or track it. Not a lot of people track, but those are your three options per video on the YouTube platform. This all relates to earning income. We highly recommend when it comes to third parties stealing other people's content, you block it. Why? Because when somebody goes to the YouTube platform and they type in, they type in the new James Bond movie, it'd be great if it was only located in one place, not 100 different YouTube channels. If you centralize and bring everybody's attention to one YouTube channel, the CPMs, the cost you make per 1,000 views, will be higher if it's only located in one place. And this leads me into earning revenue. YouTube platform, there are many ways to earn revenue. I'm going to go through all the different revenue streams. Number one way is ads. It is a monster. If you added up Facebook, Prime, Tubi, Roku, everybody else who has SVOD and AVOD, it's not even a close second. You can triple it in YouTube's that far ahead. Amazon Video Prime is new in the AVOD world. They just finished their first quarter. They did $4 billion. I believe it's going to be a home run. If you're not on Prime, get on Prime. You can actually fill out the application yourself. You don't have to go through a second company to do this. You can get on Prime yourself. It's a great way to do it. On the YouTube platform, though, it's ads, and it's a monster revenue generator for a lot of our customers. You can also have what's called super chat. People can talk on the community engagement. You can have stickers, all these little things to sell more, to add additional revenue streams. There's YouTube shopping. I don't know if anybody's seen those little merch shelves where people sell, like, I don't know, golf shirts, hats, hoodies, mugs. There's memberships where you can charge a $4 fee, and a lot of it's for YouTubers, not this type of content. $4 fee gets you a window to watch it here before it goes out to the public, ad free. And there's a couple new ones. One is branded connect, and the other is affiliate. Both are new, and you definitely should click the buttons to enroll and enable both of those, specifically affiliate, but I'll talk about branded content first. So YouTube has a program where all these people were selling ads outside of their program. What they did is they made it, some of the biggest, take the top 5,000 companies might want to buy direct, and they just circumvented the system and built it into YouTube where you can get a brand to buy direct and cut out the middleman. Probably pretty bad for people selling ads, pretty good for Google. They do take a percentage of it, which they take a percentage of every ad as well, but it lessens the people in between, and it's automated, by the way. That's the beauty of this. If you haven't clicked on the button, go to your Earn tab in your YouTube channel, go to the far right, go from left, and go from right to left and click them all. Next is affiliate. Affiliate is new. I do believe this is going to be just as big as AVOD. That's a pretty big statement. Affiliate program is the holy grail of a lot of these e-commerce platforms. in media companies, where you can actually purchase something you see in a YouTube video. AI recognizes everything on the screen. The person clicks on a Bugatti and purchase it. I'm pretty sure like a Mr. Beast or some big YouTuber is going to do that sometime in the next 30 days. They just launched this. Amazon launched first. They were second. YouTube actually links out to Amazon's store. So either way, this is good for Amazon. But it's really big because you make a little percentage of the purchase, which is great if you're selling, I don't know, makeup or whatever else people sell on these YouTubers. But it's really good if if your content is toys and you're selling Paw Patrol or My Little Pony. I can see that working really, really good for somebody selling toys or something, that kids purchase. Because a lot of this content, on the YouTube platform, music is the #1 genre, and then kids content is pretty big on the platform. It's huge in gaming. So we believe that affiliate is going to be really big in the future, and it's something to look at. If you haven't enabled that on your YouTube channel, I highly recommend that you click that button. And you might explore, if you do click on branded content in an affiliate, you might explore actually what you want to sell. Pick one video. I wouldn't go to the one with the most views right away. I wouldn't go to the most popular one. But pick one in the middle and explore it. See what type of audience is, which is pretty easy to see on your analytics, and then explore maybe selling something that audience might want to purchase. And then add the affiliate link to that video and add it right in the description, and see if the fans of that video click on it. And once you figure that out, move on, explore again, grow. This is all very new, so you will make mistakes, which is part of the learning. And they just launched it, but we pretty much understand that YouTube and Prime or Amazon, they launch a lot of things coming out of Christmas, meaning from March to the summer, and they fail fast, and they know that the big season's coming up. September, October, November, December. You got to get everything done and optimized now for the platform is cyclical. You make a lot of your revenue going into Christmas, and then everybody on this call who has a YouTube channel has always seen things to dive, and from January, February, March, April, and then everybody, why is my channel doing so bad? And I'm like, well, it's cyclical. I told you this 3 years ago, and I'm going to tell you this again next year. So really, that's the time is to build out for the Christmas. Schedule all your content. A lot of times, most of our customers have most of their content scheduled by September through December 31st of the calendar year. It's great, smart. And that way, Aux Mode's team can go in there and protect the content from theft, meaning once you upload it to YouTube, we can make sure it's released within the regions of the world you own it. And if somebody has a claim on your content, we make sure to clear that claim before that video goes public. It's great. It's a really smart way to optimize and build out your release schedule for the future. And the release schedule is something else you can, maybe engage differently. If you're always releasing videos 10 a.m. on a Friday, and say you have cooking videos or how-to something, maybe a lot of people look at their cooking recipes on Monday, buy the groceries on Tuesday, and then relook at the video Thursday and Friday. Maybe the watch time's higher when they first watch it than when they rewatch it. Those statistics or analytics will be in your channel. It's really smart to understand your audience and build the content release schedule around the audience. Just statistically speaking, it's the same day every week as the highest watch time. But we're now experimenting due to the AI of maybe modifying or exploring different times from different genres that stand out differently than the overall statistic. AI is consistently better than any analytics I know of on helping us determine when the watch time would be better to release. Something to look at if you haven't already taken a look. So those are the optimization / monetization general rules of the platform. And feel free, if anybody has anything to say, to share your experiences, to go over. And a lot of times at this particular point, when growing your channel and understanding these key consistencies and how to grow your channel, we help by every single month showing revenue reports. And those revenue reports that we share with our customers have to do with revenue by region, revenue types. AVOD is obviously a home run. It's hard to beat that. As I mentioned, I see affiliate being huge in the future. Google it after this. Understanding your licensing, and if you do make money off third party, it's called UGC. If your single videos on 15 different YouTube channels, you can actually find out which ones are doing better and figure that out. Maybe license more to that person and take away from those other 9 people. But once you understand revenue reporting, specifically revenue reporting by region, it will not only help you with optimization in earning, because maybe you might purchase more content that has to do with that audience. Maybe you might release around that audience schedule. Remember, as I refer to tentpole events around the world, Chinese New Year's is different than North American New Year's. There's sporting events, and like right now is the Olympics. It's a tentpole event. Then there's World Cup and some, events around the world need to be looked at, and content needs to be released around them. If you had an Olympic video of, the U.S. A Miracle on Ice, I would suggest releasing it around the Olympics. I think working with those tentpole events really helps the content gain a wider audience, because people are YouTube search. YouTube is the second biggest search engine in the world. So I say Googling, I mean YouTube, search on YouTube. It literally is the second biggest search engine in the world. 1 and 2, you can take a look after. So thinking about reporting and then taking that information about reports and analyzing it will help you better optimize your content, as well as taking those key analytics, learning about your audience, and then switching how it's monetized or when to release it. Is a very wise way of acting upon knowledge with analytics. And do all your learning. I highly suggest don't do it in the heart of the earning season, October, November, December. I would not modify things then. I would do all the work now. Push your team to learn as much as it can and upload all the content in the summer, and then build it out for release in the near future. It will definitely help to clear those assets today than do it in October when everybody else is probably doing it late as well. When some of the action points on the assets and the screen that you're seeing now is disputes. I'm sure everybody on this call has dealt with it. When people say they own it and they own it, it's 9 times out of 10, it usually has to do with territorial rights, which the actions weren't set out at the beginning. Whoever you're working with, I'm sure you can reach out direct and they will help fix that for you. I'm going to go through a couple of these slides pretty quick. If you had any questions, just raise your hand or unmute and ask as I go. There are exclusions. As we all know, music is a major issue with the platform. A lot of the times, I would suggest muting. Once you upload the content, if you have music claims on the intro and outro, it's probably easier just to mute it. And by the way, you can do that automatically on the platform. Again, just log in. It's really easy to mute content. But if the music's in between and it takes away from the actual feeling one gets watching the content, you're going to have to actually speak to the person who owns that composition publishing to release that claim. It's a bit more difficult, takes a bit more work, but I highly suggest you do it. Prioritizing claims. So if I had a video with 10 million views and all of a sudden get a claim on it, I would 100% sort that one out first. And it happens all the time where your most monetized video in your portfolio of content gets a claim in the month of November. I do not think that is coincidence. A lot of those claimants wait till you make more money or the video gets a certain amount of views or higher watch time, and then they hit with the claims. especially the ones that give strikes. If anybody's ever got a strike on YouTube, I find it quite suspicious to get a strike in the month of October or November, and then they ask for $5,000 to release the strike. That is very fraudulent. It happens all the time, though. That's why it's pretty good to get this cleared up before the revenue month to know if you should even be releasing the content or not, or fight it in a court, or appeal the claimant. Conflict, this particular slide and the slide before, it's all about conflict resolution and ownership of assets. According to the YouTube platform, only one owner per video. When it comes to music, you can have multiple composition, publishing, and there are different rights for audio than there is for video. For us, there's a lot of, the large libraries of content that we work with, a lot of what we do when we audit channels and look at it, here's the basic suggestions we have for everybody. I'm sure everybody here is working with a portfolio of content. Feel free to take a screenshot of this page. This is what I would do before going public with any single asset in my entire portfolio. Upload it, set the policies, understanding who are the third-party claimants, clear the claimants, then make sure, schedule the content out for the future. And then any licensing issues dealt with, you're all set up for October, November, December. Very smart way to play the monetization part of YouTube. Content ID, I'm sure the entire group understands what Content ID is. Content ID is the name of a piece of software. It's kind of like a fingerprinting software that YouTube allows us to block, take down worldwide or by region, or track third-party theft. Or they call it misuse, fancy name to say theft. It's basically fingerprinting software of your entire video or seconds of your video. For us, we audit individual channels or entire CMSs. This is a little overview of total amount of channels that we've done, or for this particular customer, but it's it's beta data. But we really break everything down. We suggest whoever's running your analytics per YouTube channel, I'll give them here's a little tip. Watch time by region. Don't get discouraged by views. Go to your watch time. A lot of people look at playbacks. Actually, that's smart as well. So it's not just the initial video playback reviews, smart, and check out your CPMs. Generally speaking, you want to be $17 to $30 CPMs, October, November, December. If your CPMs are lower than that, if we're dealing with long form content, meaning over 100 minutes, then you're not getting what's called a high watch time. Take a look. Your analytics will show YouTube's backend analytics are great, except there's a lot of it. It's kind of, it could be mystifying if you don't know where to zero in and focus. But yeah, we kind of take a look at everything. We kind of put together a beautiful little audit to show you where you're winning and losing per asset. I really think that if I can repeat myself, do not release content unless you own it 100% and it's claim free. You're doing a disservice to your content library. By the way, are there any questions right now? No? Okay, I will continue on. When we do an audit, we actually come back with a page with ownership conflicts, which is key to clearing all those third-party conflicts out. I highly suggest you do that right now. It's actually on YouTube, defaults it on your dashboard when you log in. Even they highly suggest you do it now. And by the way, sometimes YouTube's policies don't align with your policies. Remember, YouTube does good. It's my experience, they're doing what's good for them related to their platform, not to the individual YouTube channel or video. There's a bigger picture here. It's a public company. But they do understand that you cannot make money with the claim. And they do understand advertisers want to advertise with people who own their IP. So they put that actual, if you log into your YouTube studio, it's actually right on your dashboard. If you click in the top left-hand corner of your menu, hit dashboard, it shows it right in the center of the screen. There's a reason they put it there. It's very important. These are this is a little policy slide. Some customers have different policies. We often find to block third party when it comes to content ID. I highly recommend it to everybody in this group. If you don't know what content ID is and have some questions after, you can reach out to me and I will walk you through what content ID is. But yeah, these are the some, we do what's called a health check on channels. This helps, you know, everybody should see this. This will help you determine, you know, maybe if your content's not made for kids and you're complaining why it's monetized or unmonetized. YouTube's not allowed ads on kids. COPPA laws here. I actually agree with that. So you specifically maybe want to go individual video by video to determine is it a kid's video or not a kid's video. A lot of this stuff was defaulted years ago and nobody even clicked the button to review. You might want to review that now if you don't have a team and haven't done that. Log into your channel, look to see if it's if your video is a kid's video. Obviously there'll be no ads on it. It gets into YouTube Kids if it's enabled for that, and that's based on watch time. Actually, YouTube gives you some revenue by more watch time on the kids app. I think this is the last slide. It's actually the most important slide. In this particular slide where it says no match policy, that's 1,300. That's a very important number. That means there's 1,300 videos in this specific health check that did not have a match policy. So that means 1,300 videos could have been on millions of YouTube channels. What should have been happening is those 1,300 videos needed to have a, in my opinion, block or track policy. But if it's licensed, they're not allowed to do it. I don't know if people here on the call license a lot of content, but that's one thing that they need to understand, that if you don't own the content, you can't execute block policies because somebody else might be doing that for you. That is basically an overview of everything. Our monetizing, protecting, and reporting of content. Would anybody like to ask a question? I don't know. Q&A. Let me click on this Q&A. How does it work?
Perfect. Yeah, that's what I was going to tell you, Adam. There's a couple in there for you.
I think you got to move the pages. Oh, yes, I saw that. Sorry about that, Anonymous. The next question is, how can we geo-block if we don't have access to a CMS yet? Yeah, that is a huge problem with the platform. So YouTube does not give out CMSs anymore. They're one time, if you just were breathing, you can get one if you ask. They're very strict with them. You could get a scaled down version of Content ID if you ask a YouTube representative or go to the YouTube help. They do provide it. If you own IP, if you license IP, they will not ever give it to you. It's not their best interest, because that's how nobody would do this in this call, but somebody who has no moral compass might say they own the movie Titanic or Jaws, and they're definitely not Spielberg or James Cameron. And that happens all the time. So the path to gain, you know, a CMS, if you go to these trade shows, YouTube's there, ask them. It's doubtful you'll get one unless you have a large library. And if you had any questions, I can point you in the right direction. There's actually a place on YouTube's help desk where they can send you to fill out the application. It's been years since anybody I know has got one, if not, you know, over 5 years. But if you do own your IP, you might be entitled to get one. Again, somebody asked access to a CMS. That seems to be an ongoing problem. Hey, Nick and Martha. Somebody says hi, who's on the call. Do you think YouTube is going to last for more than 5 to 10 years with the same monetization offers that we have now? Absolutely not. In the last, I'd say coming out of Christmas, I've seen YouTube launch more new monetization or enable different monetization opportunities than I've ever seen them do in the previous, 12 years. I have no idea what's next. I'm pretty impressed with them finally doing affiliate. An affiliate is the Holy Grail. I mean, you know, I grew up in the 90s. People talked about buying the Friend sofa in that coffee shop, whatever it was called, Perks or something. But I think we're going to see affiliate play out in the next 5 years to a level of monetization we've never seen before. Because right now, everybody always likes to like, this is sponsored by so-and-so. You see a lot of the YouTube sponsored by NordVPN or one of those VPN companies. Now they can put it right in and link directly to, you know, a lot bigger than Nord, to buying anything on Amazon. And God forbid Temu gets involved in this, which I hope not. I mean, a lot of stuff's being sold there, or maybe I hope it does. It'll open up more monetization. But right now it's Shopify and Amazon. So that'll be huge in the future, in my opinion. I don't know what else they'll come with. Who knows? There are a lot smarter people over there than people give them credit for. The issue is the ability to geo-blocking. Next question. Yes, geo-blocking is a massive issue. This is why we get calls all the time. You know, a lot of times what I can tell somebody, if they don't have access to geo-blocking, here's a little how to game the system a bit. Go speak to your friends, have them do it on their YouTube channel, and then release the claim on yours. You just walked around geo-blocking. It's one way to you know, get some services for free. Ask your friends if they're doing it. If you have a large catalog of content, you might want to, you know, find somebody to do it yourself. But if you're talking about one video, you know, or a dozen videos, it's not worth it. Ask your friends to share how they're doing it, and maybe they'll help you out. And I think in this industry, a lot of times we see people helping each other out. Somebody had a question, Howard Grossman, can you talk more about branded content button? They have a children's cartoon show that I'm selling a plush version of the character. How do I do that? That's more merchandising. If you are trying to sell it through a video, you have to say you're selling it through a video. This is a sponsored video. That's what people usually sell. But if you actually want to sell that plush character, and you haven't, and it's on Amazon, you can actually take the affiliate. Well, first you have to enable that on your YouTube channel. Then you take the affiliate link on Amazon and you copy and paste it on YouTube, and it's done. You have to be in the program to do this. It's that easy. Branded content button, which is part of your question, is used if I don't know, say you had a children's cartoon show and you didn't have that plush character. Maybe another plush toy character company would come about to you and say, hey, can we do 10 videos of this? That's branded content, meaning they're going to pay you $4,000 a video plus whatever your video costs to do 10 videos on that. It's kind of what you see unboxers do, or Marquez, the guy who like reviews tech toys. I don't know if anybody knows Marquez. Or Dude Perfect do with their summer Lego, or those little Lego water gun things that were big this summer. Dude Perfect's perfect. Every video they have is kind of branded. What this button that you're asking does is automate that process, meaning the price that you ask and the price that is somebody willing to pay is determined by the software. It takes out a lot of the dishonest players who hit up a YouTuber with 50,000 subs and offer them $400 when it should be 4,000. So, but the value of things and the value of what people pay is determined what the marketplace is. This kind of helps, you know, take away that question. How important, next question, how important is the short form content to support your channel for community and channel growth? YouTube Shorts, understanding that long form content generates revenue. The number one thing I can say about YouTube Shorts, and I've said this on panels, it does not generate revenue, period. How important is it to the health of your channel? Well, different people have different opinions. Don't mean to offend anybody with what I'm going to say. I don't think it's very important at this particular time for TV film at all. There is no money and it doesn't help SEO too much. And But a lot of our customers have come to us and say, can you build out some? So we'll go ahead and build, 104 videos and release, one a week for 2 years. There you go. And it's not very difficult to do shorts. We can do them character-based, all sorts of little tricks of the trade. One's for the summer, one's for the fall, one's for Halloween, one's for Valentine's, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and so forth. I just don't think they figured out, they didn't crack the code for TV and film yet. Music, yes. YouTubers, yes. There's just not a lot of revenue on it. There's a massive push from YouTube for this. I do think there's a lot of politics involved here. TikTok, I don't think it's going to be around forever. Everybody on TikTok has come over to YouTube in the last year. Governments need to have a replacement if they remove something, because the audience uproar will be huge. And if I was a politician, I'd make sure something's is already taking its place, just in case I get, constituents and people bugging me to, why did you delete this? So I don't think it has a lot to offer today, in my opinion. But I wouldn't ignore it. Do 100 videos, can't hurt. It doesn't take very long to do 100 videos, like YouTube Shorts, and put it on your YouTube channel. It might help you with the SEO, but this is like one of those things saying, this is exactly a great question. YouTube's growing. You have to try new things. Try it, discover it, release it, schedule it out for 2 years, and see what happens. And then you'll figure out, analytically speaking, it didn't do too much. Well, so far I haven't seen it do too much. Next question. Do you offer consulting services for independent content producers? Yeah, hopefully this helped you. Hopefully this call introduced you to a lot of things on YouTube you might not have known. Do the playlist trick, enable everything, schedule content, all those little tips and trade tricks. We offer all sorts of services. You can, you can contact OTT, or I think they have my email. I think you might have got my email on this. I didn't even see the invite. We can talk after about that. But yes, we can help and see what we can do. Next, there are some content creators making linear programming, like fast channels, using large duration lives. Do you have some information about implementation of the official fast channel mode on YouTube and how? Okay, so I think what you're referring to on YouTube is the TV and movies channel with 100 million subscribers. So YouTube has their own curated, is key to this, where they ask you can't apply to get into this. What's most interesting about YouTube's TV rental purchase YouTube channel is it's massive on like LGs and Samsungs and the actual TV platforms, OTT, over the top on desktop, on television sets. And most people are going to it on their converters. Me, I use Chromecast. I used it last night. If you were early in this business, you did really well if you had one of those channels. Now everybody's racing to get one of those channels. I don't go past the first screen. I think I have like 4 or 5 subscriptions. I tried to watch the Olympics, couldn't do it. So I just went to YouTube. They streamed it. I think IBM was behind it via YouTube. I'd say it's really hard with YouTube's fast channel to get on it. It's honestly one of the most common questions we get asked how do I get onto YouTube's fast or YouTube's rental purchase channel? You got to be like Lionsgate or Disney or Discovery or HBO to get in there. Those deals, those contracts have been written. This industry we're in is pretty small. I'm sure a lot of the people at the trade shows, if you ask them, they'd be more than happy to take your content and put it on there and make their probably some sort of fee on the in-between, unfortunately, or percentage. What I have noticed about YouTube and some of the players that they have deals, YouTube bugs them just as much as we bug our customers. We're always bugging our customers for more content because we know the biggest secret of them all is content is still king. There's no trick I can do if I don't have content. It all comes down to larger portfolios seem to do better in the longer period of time. I know the questions I'm asking a year after I sign the contract. My experience is ask the bigger customers to see if you can get onto their contract with YouTube, because YouTube is bugging them for content, because this isn't an open program that YouTube has that anybody can do rental purchase. It's extremely hard to get in now, and I've pretty much discovered the best way to get in is to ask your friendly industry partners at trade shows. They all have the deals. When you go to rental purchase, click on provider, and that's who provided YouTube with the content. And there used to be thousands of them. We had hundreds of them. Now there's hundreds of them. So just like Content ID, somebody asked a question about that earlier, or blocking content, there used to be thousands. I think there's 68 registered left on Content ID. There used to be thousands. YouTube's taking away things because they've experienced pushback unrelated to this group of people on this call who owns IP. It's related to people who are stealing your IP and uploading it. That's the problem. So they experienced so much of that they've had to take away tools, not add. Hopefully that answers your question. How big is YouTube compared to TikTok? Well, TikTok doesn't have long form. TikTok is massive. I've never seen the explosive growth I'd never seen before, except it's not close to as big as YouTube. That's the problem. As well, there's been a lot said about the owners of TikTok. I don't know that. I don't know much about that kind of stuff, but seems like everybody's talking about it. YouTube is just so much bigger. There's just no bigger platform when it comes to, I think YouTube went like 12 years with losing 3 to 4 billion a year. And then the last 4 years, on average, 30 billion. They've made money in the last couple of years. So it took them 11 or 12 years to figure it out, and then they made a fortune. It's just a huge platform. The whole world uses it, and you can go commercial free. Me, I subscribe. I can't stand commercials. So my personal account is commercial free. It's great. I love it. What do you believe is the perfect length for a YouTube video, and why? Brother JD. Well, according to, again, I said at the beginning, I speak from a monetized point of view. There's no great secret why a lot of videos are 10 minutes and 1 second. That enables a lot more advertisers. Simply put, advertisers like engaged users. The longer the users watching content, the duration, the more money you're going to get from an advertiser. The CPM goes up. So there's your answer. They moved that number down to 7.5 minutes, like a year and a half ago, because there's been so many ads on YouTube. And by the way, the advertisers wanted it. Of course, YouTube would want a lower duration because they'd make more money, but the advertisers asked for it. That's incredible that they're saying they're okay with 7.5 minutes. I'd still go to 10 minutes and 1 second. That would be the perfect length from a monetized point of view. For YouTubers on this call, I'd say authenticity. Don't make it longer than you have to. If you're doing it for money, it's probably not the best business to be in. But from TV and film, you're over 22s, 44s, 100 minutes, you're good. Next question, does YouTube enter into content partnerships? Yes, every single terms of services is a content partnership. You actually need an AdSense account to be in the YouTube Partner Program now. That didn't exist like 3 years ago. So you need like 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time, or actually I think it's down to 3,000 hours of watch time to even apply to get monetization today. And you need an AdSense account, and they all have to tie in together. It's a lot more difficult now than it was previously, but yes, those are called content partnerships. I signed those agreements. I've signed them for over 15 years now. Next question, length. Does YouTube enter into content? Is YouTube rental purchase called Google Play? It used to be. You've been around, whoever asked that content. So YouTube merged. I'm an old Google Play user. So now Google Play rental purchase is now YouTube TV and movies, and Google Play, which was music, is now YouTube Music. So they amalgamated it all to keep. Personally, I think it's to keep YouTube.com as like the #1 website, because it is just a website.com like everybody else, to keep it #1. But it used to be called Google Play. If you did buy anything back in the day under Google Play, it's still in your Google Play account. I just recently was on it. Good question. why it seems like all large YouTube networks are based in places like Russia, Poland, Italy, but America, well, because they all had stolen content to begin with. There's your answer. No longer does that exist. Specifically in the countries that you just asked, I'd add India into that little mix there. Never buy a YouTube channel. YouTube doesn't, you're actually technically not allowed to buy a channel. You can buy the company that owns the channel. It has to be an asset of a corporation. But you actually can't buy a YouTube channel. It's against their TOS, terms of services. But all places that you mentioned had stolen a lot of TV, film, and music and became huge. And not anymore, though. That type of business doesn't exist. The biggest networks in the largest YouTube networks in the world are, companies like Complex Media. They own like the Chicken Wing Show, the Hot Ones, and the Burger Show. There are a bunch of networks, and I think the top two are US now. Gaming's huge too. Somebody said, thank you, you're welcome. Last question, 1 minute left. If I own IP to a TV, legitimate commercial TV series that has not been on YouTube, the actors are SAG, ACTRA, or do I have an obligation to pay? I personally believe you do. I hate that the writer's strike, it bothered me. I know about, it's called Rewatched. On YouTube, people rewatch content all the time, especially kids content in gaming. They probably watch like the same episode of Paw Patrol. I know this, I'm a dad of 2 young kids, over and over and over. How that relates? I know the writer only got paid once. And those analytics are there. They're all there. I don't understand why they didn't get paid. I think it's the obligation of whoever owns the distribution rights to pay the correct people, in my opinion. Our revenue reporting tool was built for that kind of, to answer that question, because people couldn't figure it out. So we provide them with a monthly report to do it for them. That's the last question I gotta answer. We are out of time. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions, Jose has my email. I don't know if it came with the email. He'll be the one to sort it out.